When it comes to AARP and our audience, we're, for a lot of what we bring to the table, we're focusing on 50 plus, but we end up with a fairly heavy concentration at I'd say around, 60, 65 plus, right? We have a lot of
Yeah.
individuals that are coming to us that want to talk, hear and learn more about Social Security, right? They want to talk about some of the retirement planning and things that you can do in retirement to even still manage your finances and make sure that, when things have transitioned and you're now managing your money in a different way, right? It's coming in a different way. You have to manage it in a different way and kind of keep those pots filled in a sense, right? They want to have those conversations. So it's like, what do we do in those moments? And the great thing is that, throughout a lot of our programming, we've geared a lot of our direct to consumer programming to more ways where we can actually hear from the audience, right? That's one of the things that we've learned. It's not as much of a one-way conversation. People want to talk to us, so they want to find ways to have a dialogue, ask their questions live, hear the answers from experts in the moment, right? And in those moments, we get to hear the concern. We get to hear some of the confusion around some of these topics, some of these, the terms that are being used, or the complexities of Social Security, which we know is a very complex system. And then we get to hear the excitement from people when things are working and when it's going well. So that's the good thing about that two-way conversation. So we're hosting events like what we call teletown halls, where you can actually have a dialogue. And Kevin, I'm sure knows this well, but the CFP board is a part of our process. So, and I'll talk about that a little later, but they're involved in helping us out to make sure that we can directly connect with clients and get them some of the expert help that they need. But I'd even say within the last 3 to 4 years, we even started to shift gears in some of the topics that we covered, right? A lot of times you think, oh, I'm talking to someone 65 plus, in some cases 60, 65 plus, we're going to talk about retirement planning and Social Security. But we've even seen in some of our savings and planning strategies that conversations around debt and credit and savings are still just as important. They want to hear about that too, right? And they want to bring down the credit card debt, reduce some debt, or figure out what are some good short and long-term saving strategies. So those conversations become just as important because those are the things that become extremely daunting. So when we talk about the psychology of money and our mindset or emotions around money, it's if I lower some of that credit card debt, then that takes a little bit of weight off my shoulders. I'm not feeling as overwhelmed. So now as I get closer to retirement, the outlook is a little different, or the goal changes, because it's not, I have to pay off 7 credit cards and figure that part out before I'm no longer, getting paid bi-weekly or seeing a check as often as I used to. So I say from our consumers, I mean, it's great to be able to have those conversations, get an understanding of what they need, what they're asking, and we're consistently doing, some type of feedback survey, or we're capturing the questions that were being asked during a lot of our learnings, so that we can make sure that we truly understand, what are the themes, what's coming up, what are people asking about the most, or what are their biggest concerns, so that we can shape our content in a way that's helpful for that audience.
And Martin, are you hearing, and in what ways are you hearing, either by direct response from the feedback you get, or just by observing the way people and those that you serve and advocate for are looking, that there's a hunger or a need for more human connection in the people that are helping them with this, those financial planners that are having that conversation with them, doing the kinds of things that Camila was talking about? Is that something that you are seeing a need for? Is it happening enough, or is there a desire for it to happen more? Or is it just that there's much better results when that's the way it is approached?
Yeah, I think a lot of the latter in what you just mentioned, we even see better results when we're providing services with more of a human touch. So it's finding those ways to increase, right? It's like, even hosting programming, webinars. Let's take a webinar, for example. We want to find more and more ways to make sure that, while you're on the webinar or while you're on a call, you can talk to someone individually, because talk to an expert individually, because they want those questions answered. We've started to increased programming that just provides more and more of a human touch, because that's what what people are asking for, and those programs are yielding are yielding better results for us, right? So where people are a lot more pleased when they actually have time to talk to an expert, because we could take any financial topic, and once we start to explain it, question after questions coming in, right? For someone who may not be as expert in the topic, right? So they want to have that conversation. And we found that we're getting much higher scores, that our feedback is coming back in much more positive ways the more that we add that human connection there. And the last thing I'll mention is that we even started to go from just the technical scripts and having like very technical financial conversations to those more human conversations, right? Let's for example, let's use something as simple as the Social Security message of it pays to wait, right? We know that the longer you wait to take the money, to withdraw your Social Security to benefit, the more money that you'll get over time. So before, we were very strong on the it pays to wait. It's a great message to say, right? But then you realize that can come off really tone deaf, right? If someone's like, well, hey, I have to take it at 62. If you're just saying it pays to wait, take it at 70, they're like, well, hey, what about my health? What about my life expectancy? What about my bank account, my wallet, right? My nest egg. And so our message went from just it pays to wait to it pays to wait, but think about these things and do what's best for you, right? And that just adds just enough so that someone's like, okay, I hear you. I know that it can help, but there's more to it. So our messaging even started to become more ingrained in, just like you said, human connection, and making sure that we're not just talking technicality, but we're actually thinking about the person. We saw a huge uptick in those conversations during the pandemic, right? It was the fear, it was the confusion, it was just trying to truly understand like what's happening in the market, what should I be doing, who should I talk to? And that's where for AARP it became just a great time to just start to say like, hey, this is the time to talk to an advisor. This is the time to have that conversation, because even in a webinar where I'm doing live Q&A, I can't glean enough information from any one person to give you an idea of what to do, or if you should hold, if you should sell. That's those conversations are very much personal conversations, and we're always saying personal finance is personal. It's very personal for all of us. So you have to have the conversation with someone who can really get your story and figure out, what kind of safety net do you have? How much time do you have? What do your reserves look like? And things like that. But that's what we saw more than anything. Once the market's volatility started happening, right? That bull market started getting shaky. And then all of a sudden, the conversations were completely different. People that were nearing retirement were calling, and just out of pure fear, just to say like, hey, what do I do? What should I do next? We don't know what's happening. I'm getting close to retirement. How do I handle this? So we were able to start to have more conversations about talking to an advisor, meet with the CFP, meet with someone who can really go through your information. So, with all the information out there, like Camilla said, it kind of works together. It's a lot of information. A lot of times they're going to bring you that information. You always get hey, I just read about this, right? So that's a good way to introduce a conversation, or to have to start a conversation. It kind of works that way. And in some cases it's, this was right or this was wrong. But in other ways, we're able to kind of have someone bring concepts to us, have a consumer bring us a concept, or bring a new tool to us and say, hey, should I be using this, or should I consider this? But so that's where the information overload kind of help can come to a person, because they're always going to ask, what do you think about this? Or is this helpful? I'd say the one thing that to mention, and I was going to just piggyback right off of what Camilla just mentioned, is in talking about CFPs and finding advisors, right? AARP, we created a tool called Interview an Advisor. And the basis of the tool is to help to protect and educate individuals around how to find an advisor of value. An advisor that's going to really work in their best interest. And it's loosely based on the CFP principles. But what we find is that when we're having conversations and we're telling someone, hey, we want you to find an advisor, one of the first concerns is, can I afford it? Right. So it's really encouraging. I would go to the CFP diversity summits, and you start to meet CFPs who are, using new models for payment. Right. You're seeing subscription models. You're seeing these other ways of receiving payment, or sliding scale models that are coming about. And a lot of that's coming because they're seeing that, hey, we want to work with, we're not just looking to work with someone who has 250,000 liquid assets, right, to invest, or investable assets. So we're seeing, and we look to promote these things. So I'd even say one of the things that I'm driving for is that even in our next iteration of Interview an Advisor, it's having those conversations about, look, these are the types of people that you can find. This is the type of professional you can find. These are the types of offerings that are there, right? Everyone's not asking you to come to pay this high percentage or to have this certain amount of investable income, but the diversity within the field is there, and that diversity showing up through these new models of taking payment, or the types of clients that they're taking. So it has been exciting to see that, and encouraging to see that, and we want to promote that more so that individuals are aware of what's available for them.